Class is in session. Please sit down and pay attention. Today's subject will be SARYN. We will discuss her abilities and how to best use them, as well as how to compose a strong build for SARYN without investing a ton of resources into her. Today's build will be able to clear all non-steel path content with ease. Some of the main advantages of SARYN is her ability to achieve both range and damage while building for tankiness without having to lean on any endgame items. Furthermore, SARYN spreads extremely useful status effects with her abilities, making her less dependent on her weapons while also making her ideal for team play. The main downside to SARYN is that she's quite energy dependent, but I have prepared a utility weapon to overcome this, which we'll talk about later. SARYN's first ability is Spores, which arguably is also her best ability. For the low cost of 24 energy, you get to apply a DOT to an enemy. When that enemy dies, the spores will spread to all enemies in range at no additional cost. If these enemies dies to the spores, it will not spread, but if the target takes lethal damage from any other source, the spores will spread again. They do so in a massive 30-meter radius. The damage of the spores scales in relation to how many enemies are affected by the ability every damage tick. The damage will continue to increase as long as at least one enemy is alive. Should all enemies die, the damage multiplier will decay with 13% every damage tick. Recasting spores also reduces the multiplier by 13%. Oh, and did I mention that the spores apply a corrosive proc every damage tick, removing 26% armor with the first stack and 6% with every additional proc up to 80% at 10 stacks. SARYN's second ability is called Mold, which is in its own right extremely powerful, but only when played on shield gating builds, which are by their very nature prohibitively expensive. Thusly, we will skip it for now. SARYN's third ability is Toxic Lash, which is a decent elemental damage increase to weapons only, doubled on melee attacks, which also bursts the spores on enemies instantaneously while this ability is active. Finally, SARYN's ultimate, Miasma, is a 47-meter AoE around SARYN that deals 201 viral damage every second for 7 seconds. Enemies affected by Miasma will be stunned for 3 seconds and suffer a single stack of viral, causing them to take 100% more damage from all sources, including spores, to their health. Spores will also deal 4 times more damage to affected enemies, which gives you a total of 800% more damage against those enemies. Enemies killed by spores, while also affected by Miasma, will still spread spores to nearby enemies. Now, let's move on to your assignment. Here it is. There are 4 base mods used here. Most of you should already have these mods. Moving on, we have 3 corrupted mods. If you do not already have these mods, it is almost mandatory, as at least one of them is used on every single last Warframe build. Finally, we have the arbitration specific mod, Adaption. I would strongly recommend getting this from another player, as they go for as little as 10 to 14 platinum, link in the description. You can upgrade these mods as much as you like, as they are useful into the late game or even end game, except for Vitality, which is commonly swapped out for Archon Vitality or Umbra Vitality. An extremely helpful early game utility item which can be acquired on Earth is a SAR with Exodia Brave on it. I shall cover this more in a future lesson, but know that this single item with a simple 10,000 endo build can solve your energy, health, crowd control and damage problems all the way up to Steel Path. Now, let me quickly go over how to actually use this Warframe. The approach changes massively depending upon whether we are dealing with a quick or endless style mission. For quick missions with low enemy density, such as exterminate or capture on the early planets or any spy or rescue mission, you pretty much want to ignore your spores and just kill with Miasma. On the other hand, when dealing with survival operations where we need to purposefully engage with the enemies for a prolonged period of time, our spores become our primary damage tool. In terms of Toxic Lash, we simply want it to be active all the time. For our spores, we want to activate them as early as possible and then simply keep them going for as long as possible. This means seeking out inflicted enemies and killing them ourselves. Furthermore, if the spores ever get down to 1 to 3 enemies, it's perfectly fine to recast the spores and then just take the 30% reduction to the damage multiplier instead of risking a much greater loss. We also have to watch our use of miasma closely. It might be a bit counterintuitive, but we don't actually want to use it while we have a lot of enemies inflicted with spores, as this could kill all of them, dropping the damage multiplier on the spores. Instead, we want to reserve it as a panic button for when the spores are about to expire. Make sure to cast it early, however, as the cast time is deceptively long. You can also bullet jump into an aim glide while casting miasma to stay mobile. That is everything for today. In our next lesson, we'll talk about the brave saw I talked about earlier in this lesson.